Hello and welcome everybody to the NerdSpice podcast bonus round. Today it is just Tolga and I,
What's up?
and today we're just chatting about The Last of Us Part 2. Spoilers. We will have a
Yes.
big spoiler warning now.
Yep.
So Tolga, you and I have both finished it. We've
Yes,
both
we
done
have.
it.
Yes.
Did it the same night as well. I was really proud of us, hey. Uh,
Oh, I did it during the day, and then you did it at night, and that was pretty
Same
awesome.
time, same day,
Yeah.
same day.
Yeah. Same
Either
day.
way.
Either way.
But no, like, let's kind of jump into it. So we kind of brushed off because we were speaking about it on our second episode. We mentioned that we were enjoying it. We were close to finishing, but we hadn't
Yes.
gotten there yet. I'm pretty sure it was maybe the next day or 2 days later that we ended up finishing it.
Literally, yeah.
I'm pretty sure we were both pretty close already. We just didn't even realize.
It was just at the point that we were at. It just you couldn't really tell when it was ending, and then bang, it ended.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I have a quick question before we get into like big details about the show. Or the game, sorry. I think I want to know if your opinion has changed at all.
In terms of what exactly?
How you feel about the game?
Well, no, my opinion hasn't changed. Really, I mean, like, great game, great everything. Really, yeah, it's just. Like, again, and I said this in the last episode, when you, with this game, if you're to be like, okay, this is wrong with it, or that is wrong with it, or this is wrong with it, that's, you're going out and picking minute details about why that didn't work, or that didn't work, or that didn't work. Because at the end of the day, because I obviously online, the consensus of the game is varying.
It's very mixed. It's either you're on the side of it's fucking phenomenal, or you're on the side of it's absolute dog shit.
Yeah. So, as I was saying, whether or not you're on whatever side you're on, you cannot deny, full stop, I don't care what you have to say, sorry, you cannot deny that this game was made at such a high caliber. Full stop. Period. End of story. Doesn't matter. Doesn't care if you don't like the writing. Doesn't care if you don't like the motion capture. Whatever. At the end of the day, this game was made at an incredibly high caliber, and that's it.
Of course. I think that like no one would think otherwise. Just one sec. Sorry, no, I don't think anyone would think otherwise, like, other than that it's a high production quality. You know, like, it does have a high production quality. I think people's main problems are, it is the writing. That is a main problem with people's criticisms.
But the thing is, when I say caliber, I don't mean just production quality. Like, I mean, these guys painstakingly put their love and effort into this game.
Of course. And I'm agreeing with you, but like, you know, the problem with that is as well, Naughty Dog has now been outed to have a very high crunch time and to have caused a lot of stress on their developers. And I think it is a very big thing to call out that. Yes, this game was of amazing quality. Like people put a lot of fucking effort into it. They have done things to such a minute detail. But like, it almost begs the question of, is it worth it? Is it really worth it when they are putting their developers, their team, onto such a strong crunch where people are doing, 60 more hours a week.
Right. I didn't hear about this.
Yes, so this came out before Last of Us even got released. So it came out like a while back, and then it was right after that came out. Then the leaks came out, and so that was why the theory of it was an unhappy developer. It was due to the fact that they'd been crunching, but also they also didn't get like a severance pack, a bonus package that most developers get from Naughty Dog. Like their bonuses were a lot smaller than they expected.
Right. Okay.
And so I think it does need to be pointed out that sometimes crunch, like, will make some phenomenal games. Like, it will, but that doesn't make it okay. You know?
No.
So I think it does need to be called out. Naughty Dog does need to be called out. Any company needs to be called out if they're putting their developers through crunch. You know, Rockstar needs to be called out for it, for when they did it for all their games. They do it for all their games, apparently.
Yeah.
But they were notorious by bragging about it for Red Dead 2. You know, CD Projekt Red, they do a massive crunch period. As much as I'm excited for their next game, for Cyberpunk, it is a game made by crunch. And yeah, so I think it does need to be called out. It is a massive thing that needs to be called out. My other thing, and this is another thing I think needs to be mentioned, because we're doing this, like, you know, a couple weeks after the game's been released. There's been some drama happening with...
we're talking about Laura Bailey.
I'm going to talk about a bit of everything.
Right.
I'm going to talk about Neil Druckmann, who is the lead writer.
Yes.
I personally loved the writing of this game.
I did too.
I'm just going to say to Neil Druckmann, bro, you need to fucking cool down.
So what?
You need to sit the fuck back for a little bit.
What happened?
Look, so there's the Laura Bailey situation, which, by the way, anyone who's doing death threats, fuck you, you're a nutcase and you're an asshole. You're not a fan. You're just a cunt.
You're just toxic.
You're disgusting. You're what's wrong with the gaming community.
You are just spreading negative energy, and that
like, you can hate the game, but you do not threaten someone's life. You'd think that'd be
someone's life, let alone someone's family. Like, Jesus Christ, they're threatening her family. She's got a 2-year-old kid.
You'd think that people would be smart enough to know that, but apparently not. Apparently not.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's one thing. The Laura Bailey situation of getting death threats. But Neil Druckmann's been going out on his high horse saying that people are criticising it because you can't write thought-provoking media anymore in the games industry, and people just get mad. No, sit the fuck down, mate. Like, I'm gonna be on the side of critics, where your writing was good, but there are flaws to your writing, and don't try and say that, do this pretentious bullshit. I also want to call him out on, there was I saw this tweet that I think was a really stupid tweet, and it was about someone was complaining about, there was a leak about, it was to do with the developers of Mortal Kombat NetherRealm forcing their developers to watch extremely violent content.
Yes.
So that they could make realistic, like real life violent content.
Right,
to make them be able to make realistic violent content for the game.
Yeah.
And someone also threw out that Naughty Dog did it. Which, anyway, a developer came out and said, I don't know what you're talking about, this didn't happen.
Right.
At least not from my perspective, it didn't happen. And so Neil Druckmann, you know, relayed that tweet, and then also said, this is coming from the same games media that claimed that Abby was a transgendered woman, or that Ellie, like just like these two different things that apparently were leaked about the game. And I read them and I was like, well, actually, like, both of the leaks weren't completely correct, but with Abby, there is a transgendered character. And then with the one to do with... There was one to do with Ellie as well, and I don't remember what it was. But, again, it wasn't necessarily Ellie, but it was a character alongside Ellie type of thing. And I was like... So, like...
was that the whole Dina's Jewish thing?
No.
No?
It's got nothing to do with that.
Because I remember when I saw that and people were complaining about that, I was like, what?
No.
You're playing... Like, how are you bringing your religious views into a post-apocalyptic games?
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with that. No, it's got nothing to do with Dina's religious background or heritage.
Yeah.
But it's just this. Like, I do want to call Neil Druckmann out because he is sitting very much on a high horse of bullshit, and it's like, calm down. Like, I personally loved what you did, but you need to calm the fuck down. And, like, I think, though, that, like, the thing that's happening with Laura Bailey does need to be called out. Like, it's disgusting. It is a despicable thing to have happened.
Yeah. Yep.
And you shouldn't be so invested in a fucking video game to where you threaten an actor, mind you, his life, like, or anybody's life. Like,
I mean, look, I think you can be invested in a game, but I don't think, like, for example, you've got people who are invested in a game and are positive. Like, for example, we're invested, and you are actually,
though, like, let's say if something, like, you should never be so invested in a game that something that you didn't like happens, and you then make it affect somebody in the real world.
That's not investment. See, that's what that is that in this day and age, people have developed a thing of, if something's not my way, it's the wrong way. That's not a matter of investment.
Well, no, but they're invested in... Because, look, it was all due to, and let's just jump right into the big spoiler, Joel's death. It's all due to Joel's death. So they are so invested in a character. It is solely because they love this character. They're so invested in the previous games and the character. They are angry at the fact that Joel's dead. So... No, it is still investment. I'm sorry, but it's still investment. You should not be so invested in a fictional piece of writing that you will then bring it into the real world and threaten somebody's life. Yes, there are positive forms of investment, absolutely, but you should never let investment turn so negative that you are threatening someone's life. You should never threaten an actor's life for a character that they fucking played. It's not the actor. This is a character you hate. I hate the same character, but I'm not going to fucking threaten Laura Bailey's life because Laura Bailey did a fucking phenomenal job. You know?
Yeah.
But, like, I'd never threaten her life just because I'm a fucking decent human being.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's that. Let's go into the actual game. Okay, so, like, let's just talk about the beginning, the intro. I think the introduction to this game was fucking phenomenal.
Well, we talked on it briefly in the last one, just how like literally in the first cutscene, you sit there and you're just like, oh wow, like this is I'm in for it.
This is the future of, well, also just this is the future of gaming. The graphics, the look, the visual design, fucking phenomenal.
It's all beautiful.
But, like, let's go into some story beats, you know? So, we've got the intro. We immediately get shown that Ellie and Joel have a torn relationship. And so, you're a bit kind of like, and, like, people who've played the first game immediately knew, okay, she's figured it out. She's figured out the ending, or what happened, what Joel did. And then, you know, you go straight through, you start doing the tutorial mission, stuff like that. It brings you to Abby. You're playing as Abby for a bit. Abby's the new character, the quote-unquote villain of the story.
Can I just say, holy crap, Abby's model. Like Abby's like character model is insane.
Oh, dude,
Like,
so much muscle.
but not
Christ.
even that. Like it was just like because in the first scene you see her like clothed, right? It's not like she's in her tank top or whatever. You know,
Mm.
the muscle arm like shirt thing.
Mm.
But you see her fully clothed in long sleeve, and even literally looking at
Well, you
her
can just
that
see she's
clothes.
big. You can see
Yeah,
she's
well,
fucking
you
broad.
can see she's built, so
Yeah.
it's not a matter of seeing because like you can make a big character model.
No, but I mean,
and,
like, as in, you can
and
see
clothe them
she's
up.
built. You can see
Yeah,
she's
you can
just
actually
broad.
see.
You can see the shoulder. Like, is the shoulder width? You could just see these big ass fucking shoulders.
It's just like just a great model, you know. Like even and I mentioned this last bloody podcast, like, and I don't know why it was specifically with her, but like they freaking nail hair physics, bro, and it's so weird to like.
I got so excited like when you get to play as Abby later on down the line, and you've got her braided tail, like ponytail, like against her shoulder, and you get into a fight, and so you get pushed back, and the hair like will fall back now, and it's on your like hanging from your back again. It's like what?
Yeah,
and it's just like just moving around depending on what you're doing. Like it was fucking phenomenal. It was just, I got way too invested in the
yeah, I know.
It
was just like it's just such a
Yeah.
weird thing to point out.
It's
Like,
so
oh
weird,
wow,
it was great. Like it was really good.
like damn, Tommy's beard looks good, or like damn, Joel's beard looks good. Like it's just like.
But let's continue. So you get to play as Abby for a bit there. You can tell there's something going on. She's looking for somebody. Anyone with a fucking brain knew immediately who it was.
Yes. Yeah.
That's one of those things where I think it's not necessarily poor writing, but it's like, okay, you're trying to be mysterious. It's not fucking working. We all fucking know who it is. Don't try and put up this front.
I don't think it was a matter of being mysterious. I just think it was
like
a matter
putting
of
up a front. Like we're not going to name him.
But it sort of felt organic in the regard that they wouldn't want to mention, like Abby wouldn't want to say his name, of the man who killed her. Spoiler, killed her father. I mean, this whole episode is just gonna say spoiler at the front of it, so fuck saying spoiler. But
I was
like,
gonna say, why are you bothered? This is the spoiler discussion.
Yeah, exactly,
You don't need to warn it anymore.
Yeah. So like it makes sense that she's not gonna say his name of the guy who killed her father until she looks that man in the eye. I
don't know, man. Like because they have that. Because
if it was me,
no, but they have the flashback later on down the line, and she mentions Joel's name willy nilly, in the flashback where she's with Owen on the Ferris wheel. So I don't buy that. Yeah, she mentions his name because she goes, I found him. I found Joel. So like I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. I still think they were doing it to put up a front of just in case somebody doesn't realize it. But everyone fucking knew. I'm sorry, everyone knew. Again, like I think it's all right to criticize this stuff, and these are minute things. These are very minute, small things.
For those diehard fans who love it, just when we say something bad about it, because like the people who are saying
it's such a minute thing. Because I love this game. I loved every minute I played of it. Not every, but most of it. We'll get into what I didn't like. We'll get into what I didn't like. Tolga already knows, but anyway. So yeah, that was just like that was like such a small little thing. Like it's not even that important, But anyway, we'll continue. The next, we get into it. You go back to Ellie again. You're playing as Ellie.
Yeah.
And then you go. You realize that you're playing as Abby again. Shit happens. Joel and Tommy come save her, and like this is just we're gonna mention this. We mentioned this in the last podcast, very vaguely.
Oh yeah,
just
that's right.
That quick scene of her kind of clicking with this Joel.
That my brain is processing. Holy shit, this is Joel, but they're helping me, but I need to run away. Like it's a combination.
It's like this fear, and then this like, holy fuck, I've already got him.
It's
It was
yeah,
like
it's like
this.
it's fear, it's rage, it's relief, and like it's the matter of the fact that she's trying to believe, like, holy shit, we weren't gonna go get him because we're severely outnumbered, and it'd be a stupid thing to do it, and no one else was gonna come with me, and he's just fallen into my lap type thing.
Yeah, it was like, you know, it was just, yeah, that like just that split second, and it was like a split second
Yeah,
of acting,
no,
and like this screen, and it was just phenomenal.
100%.
Anyway, you know, we get further into it, all that shit. Plot twist. Wow, bet you didn't expect this happen. Joel's dead. Which, by the way, people criticize the death of Joel because they think that you don't spend enough time with him. Okay, I'm just going to throw this out here. I wouldn't have wanted his death to be any other way than quick, sudden, and not when we wanted it to happen.
I think it was great. Like that whole
It's such a
thing.
to me. It's so Last of Us to be like, you know, that character you love and you played the entire time. Bam, he's dead.
Not even that,
You know,
man.
like
Just like the whole moment where like the golf club hits his head, and then you instantly get like you know, from Ellie's perspective, you instantly get that muffled net sound, and you can barely hear the voices, and like you can hear her scream like vibrate through you. It's just like you sit there speechless. You sit there speechless. Like and again, everyone sort of knew it was coming, but even though you knew, you still sat there and you're
of
like,
course, but like I mean, like I liked that. You know, like so many games do like character deaths as these big, flashy, emotional things, whereas
and they
this
have a
just did the
speech
exact
before they
opposite
die.
thing. You know, like it was
Yeah.
just quick, done to the point, and they don't let you sit and go, oh my god, he's about to die. That you pretty much go, you get the shotgun to the knee, and you go, oh fuck, he's dying. You run to it. You're running as Ellie, going, fucking just get there, get there, get there, get there.
Yeah.
And then next minute, bam, you see him there. You get knocked down. Joel's dead.
And the thing is, they don't do that thing of like, oh, you know, he's got his speech before he dies. Like, the only communication that Ellie and Joel had was
Joel
that
looks at her in the eye.
Yeah, there's that moment where they look each other in the eye, and it says like 1,000 words, and it sends shivers down your spine, and you sit there and you're still in disbelief, but you go, it sort of gives the like, this is actually happening type thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But,
now let's skip forward a few segments because I think, you know, that's like the first big spoiler part to talk about.
Yeah.
And you know, we'll keep going. We'll kind of push through this a little bit, but I want to also talk about another big thing, and that is the combat. I want to talk, like, get really in depth with the combat because obviously we spoke about it quite a bit, but you can't talk too much on it. And this kind of comes with another caveat, a little criticism I have, and that is not necessarily just the combat, but it's something that happens again later down the line, and that is you can pretty much get through every fight scene without killing a single person.
I mean,
every stealth section.
Yeah.
Is probably the better way to preface that.
Yeah, you can. You can.
You can. It's very hard, but you can.
Yes.
And I do want to mention this because there was a big hullabaloo back again at the beginning of this game's announcement where Neil Druckmann went on his high horse again.
Yes.
And went, oh, we're so good. You can choose who you want to kill. You don't have to kill any dogs. And blah, blah, blah. Because, you know, people were worried that they're going to have to kill dogs because there was a scene in one of the gameplays, I believe, where she killed a dog and like everyone like was fucking haunted by how it was killed. So he went, "Oh no, don't worry, you don't have to kill dogs. It's totally optional." And fucking next minute, there's a quick time event where you have to kill a dog.
Yeah.
I just want to bring that up because I find it really disingenuous to be like, "Oh yeah, you can do this," and then they go. And, like, you know, they're trying to make you feel guilty about killing these people because you chose to kill them. But then they go and, like, give you this quick time event where you have no choice but to kill this dog. Yeah?
But, I mean...
No. You have no choice but to kill this dog. And then later on down the line, they make you play with that dog and be like, yeah, see, look what you did. You killed this innocent animal. No, I think that's poor writing.
But, see, what I...
That's poor writing to be
Alright,
like,
hold on, let me finish. Jesus
okay,
Christ.
you go, fucking
I'm not saying it's bad, right? Why are you getting mad?
No, I'm not. Keep going.
I'm just saying, right, from my point of view, the whole overarching story of The Last of Us, right? The whole, like, the one theme, the single thing that could be...
It's the theme that I brought up to you as well. We already know this.
It's got to be, right, is that sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
No, that's not the overarching theme of The Last of Us Part 2. You're a fucking fool.
No. Hold the fuck on, dude. Let me fucking say my opinion.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
No, listen. Sometimes, especially in post-apocalyptic, there is going to be times where you don't want to kill someone. And there's going to be times where you do want to kill someone. There's the time, for example, for Ellie, there is the time where she wants to kill Abby, right? But then there's also the time where she doesn't want to kill Mel, but she does, right? And it's the same thing. It's the same thing in the first Last of Us. Joel knows that if I give Ellie to the Fireflies, they can maybe synthesize a cure. But then at the same time, he cares about Ellie and he doesn't want Ellie to die. So when I say you got to do what you got to do, there's points in there, especially in that world.
I see what you're trying to say, but that's not... My criticism isn't the fact that they've made you kill the dog. My criticism with it is to then be like, you now feel bad that you've done this because now you're playing with this dog. And that, to me, is a poor writing choice because you're not giving them the choice.
You feel bad. That's the reaction they want to get from you. Like, when you kill Mel, you feel bad.
I felt...
They don't want you to kill Mel.
I felt worse for Mel because she's pregnant. But the problem is, though, the thing is... They purposefully pull out this whole... Now you're going to spend time with specifically the dog, and they're trying to make you feel this guilt for killing this dog. But the problem is, unlike the dog, with Mel, it is a cutscene. You have no control over it. They force you to bring control into it. And to me, because this whole game is meant to be about your decisions...
Yeah.
Like, your decision for violence, your act of violence is going to ricochet, and it's going to eventually come back to you. That is the whole point of Last of Us Part 2. It is revenge begets revenge.
Yeah.
Begets revenge. You know, it's this cycle of vengeance. You know, that is what it is completely about. The second one. Yes, the Last of Us Part 1 was very much it is all about just surviving. No one's good. It's this grey. There's no good or bad. There is just extremely bad and then survivors. Yes, that is the original Last of Us's main theme. And then, you know, like, but my flaw with the writing for that scene is specifically, you don't get the right to guilt somebody when you don't give them the options. If you're going to try and make it a gameplay section, you know, if it was a cutscene and then you then go back and you're like, oh damn man, it's gutting that Ellie killed him. That's a different situation. But I'm going to be real with you. When I went back in time, it actually made me hate Mel more. So I didn't feel as guilty when she...
as in when you were Abby.
When I went to the Abby sections, I was like, I really don't like Mel at all. Fuck Mel.
Because that's a good thing. But that's a...
So no, I was like, I'm not mad that Mel died, even though she was pregnant. I don't care. Bitch was a bitch. So
bitch was a bitch.
The bitch was a bitch. No, but so
welcome to the NerdSpice podcast, guys.
Our vocabularistics are so strong.
The bitch was a bitch.
But no, I don't know. I just think that one was another. Again, it's a very small complaint, but I think when you're trying to do this very high and mighty, big conversation about violence and all that shit.
No.
It is really ham-fisted to then shove that down your throat when you forced the player to do it.
It's a matter of the fact that, if you say this is going to be a thing and then that's not the case, that's just wrong in general.
Well, yes, that's Neil. That's one. That's on Neil Druckmann. But I mean purposefully, just that one specific section of you don't even give the option, and the option is either don't do anything and die, reload, and then do something. That's taking away a bit of the point because again, you can get through most of the game without killing anyone.
Yeah, I know.
Most, not all of it, but most. And so that pardon?
Why would you do that though? It's fun to blow up infected and shit like that.
Well, the infected different. So I'm talking about the humans.
Yeah,
the human characters.
Infected,
they already dead.
I'm just messing around.
But the human side of it, and I think if you realistically, if you want to really push the narrative well, you should very much not kill anybody. If you want to talk about good writing, you shouldn't kill anybody because realistically, I think there is a flaw about the ending of the game if you've gone and killed most people.
I mean...
And we'll get into that later. But, so...
Well, let's get into the respective sections. So let's talk about Ellie's half of the
Ellie's
game.
half. Phenomenal. Loved it. 10 out of 10. Honestly. It was my favourite part of the game. Anytime I was playing as Ellie, I was having the most fun. Yes. I preferred the way Ellie played, personally.
I'm in the same boat on that one.
I think what they did, though, to switch up the two was a very good idea to be able... Yes. So that, you weren't, forced to just play as a different character but do the same shit. Yeah. I think it was very awesome to have something a little different with that. But no, my biggest problem was definitely the fact that... Sorry, just one sec.
That's alright.
Anyway, sorry, I'm back. I think it was a massive flaw to then... It would have been a massive flaw, sorry, to make her, replay as the same character, just... different character, same game play.
Yes, yes.
Anyway, Ellie's part was phenomenal in my opinion. The finding and the just the dynamic between Ellie and Dina was just phenomenal. That was a great relationship. Yeah,
we spoke about it in the last one. It was an extremely refreshing take on a same-sex relationship.
Well, it's just ignoring that. It was just an extremely refreshing take on a relationship in general. Ignore same-sex. In video games, relationships aren't done very well.
I mean, often. I can't actually remember the one that sort of focused on one.
Well, no, but the thing is though, the ones that kind of push them a love interest into it. A lot of the time, it's done very ham-fisted or it's very cheesy, Whereas it was just this very human interaction, and again, it is very Naughty Dog to have this human side of characters. They always nail that. So of course, it was phenomenal to witness. um, anyway, like, what did you think of the Ellie side?
Well, look, 10 out of 10. And I mentioned these things before. Just, I
Those
mean, this
small
one,
details from the last
yeah,
podcast, yeah.
yeah. This, um, so this applies to both parts, but just like the finding of notes that sort of connect, that really flesh out the whole world. That's just a great, side thing.
Mm.
Um, Dina and Ellie, again, great. Yeah, regardless of, you're right. I mean, I can't remember the last time I played a game where they, tried to attempt a relationship.
Mm.
But what I was saying in terms of the same sex is just that, everyone knows in this day's media that a lot of people, like, for whatever reason, they think, oh, we need a neon sign saying that, oh, hey, these guys are same sex, or hey,
Right.
this is a strong woman, and like, it's just so nice to not have that,
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Well, I think,
and,
like, we,
and it's just, and like you're saying, regardless of not it whether it was or wasn't, it was just a relationship done right.
mm.
Um, and that's and it's quite, and also for, because, correct me if I'm wrong, Dina's not even mentioned in the first one, right? Like, not even towards the end.
Well, no, the
She's
town
an
is non-existent pretty much. You don't meet
yeah,
anyone from the town because you're
yeah,
not a
yeah,
part of it yet.
the town, yeah. So, like, the matter of the fact that this new character adds so much to Ellie, the dynamic between them, the dynamic of Ellie's choices, is just like good on them, like a pat on the back. Same thing with Jesse.
Mm.
Uh, Jesse, you know, coping with the fact that, you know his girlfriend's in a new relationship,
Well, it's not
and
even
then
coping.
Jesse,
He actually
well,
does it. He's probably the most
he does
mature person I've ever seen deal with watching his
exactly.
girlfriend go into a relationship with one of his best friends.
Yeah, exactly. But then on top of that, they have this. They
They have this.
they
Let's
they
just.
make you think. Yeah, they make you think. Oh yeah, he's just, just, it's just sort of fleshing out the town, and then, like, he comes he comes and helps you out, and
Yeah,
he's
he
like,
joins
why would I
in.
leave? Yeah, he's like, why would I leave a friend behind?
Yeah.
Um.
He's probably actually. I'm gonna be honest. He's probably my favorite character in the game. Um,
Oh, he's definitely up there.
Jesse was probably my favorite. Just in terms of just pure positivity. Like, he was just like the most, like, he was just the best boy. He was just such a good boy.
There's the whole thing at, like, the begin, like, when you meet him, how, like, he's trying to crap on Ellie and be like, oh, I broke up with my girl for 2 weeks and you're already kissing her, and it's like, oh,
Just
crap,
to start shit, and then he's just like, I'm fucking with you.
yeah, exactly. It's just something nice.
Yeah, it was just from the pure, like, he was just the only ray of sunshine in that entire game.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
So, I think we should get into the next big point, which is Rip Jesse.
Oh, oh God.
Now, this is kind of, to me, like, this is where everybody flips on the game. I've found. This is what everyone hates. And as you know, I'm definitely more on the boat of, I really fucking hate Abby's part of the game.
Yes.
But I am, up to an extent, I hate Abby's part of the game. Unlike everyone else who's just like, oh, fuck Abby, fuck this entire thing. I'm still on the fuck Abby side. But I think that near the end, they nailed it. I just think they shouldn't have done from day one.
No, see, yeah, that's probably because the way they did it right, from essentially playing through the 4 days or whatever as Ellie and then the 4 days as Abby, it just feels super stunted.
Yeah. It
Now,
really, like, because they they amp you up in the last, like, in the Ellie side, like, you've gone through a fucking army essentially by this point, and then for them to kind of hit you on a massive cliffhanger of Jesse being killed out of fucking nowhere, and having Abby there, you're like, oh, what the fuck? And then they go, now we're gonna have a flashback to Abby as a kid to explain why she killed Joel, which, again, that was that was something that needed to happen. They needed to give an explanation, otherwise she would never become a likable character at all, even though they clearly failed at making her likable in any way, considering the backlash. But no, like, as in, they needed that flashback. That flashback had to happen, but I really don't think they needed to start at day one.
I thought that zebra scene was lit. Like, let me just say, it was cool.
It was cool really cool.
It was cool that they touched on the fact that the animals in the zoos.
Well, they did that in the original game.
Yeah, I know, but I don't.
They did that in the first game, so like.
Yeah, they did it with the giraffe. I remember.
Well, no, you can see zebras as well.
Oh, okay.
There were like zebras and giraffes there from my recollection.
I remember the giraffe. I don't remember the zebra. Anyway,
well, it's like it's all in the same scene. It's all like in the same scene.
Anyway, semantics.
Yes, semantics.
Zebras are cool, all right.
Yes, no, it was I think it was a really good scene too. I like I said, I think that flashback scene was very good, and it needed to be there. It had to be there.
It's just a matter of the fact that you start from Abby's day one when you're already up to day 4.
My problem as well is it goes from essentially 100 back to 0. That's the problem. You're going back to nothing, and you have to work on Abby again, and like, to me that was stupid. That was fucking dumb.
It was definitely very stunted. Like, in terms of like, let's say if you just look at Abby's section separate from from the game, it's a good section.
Absolutely. I think, like, if it was like a separate thing, it would have been good. It's just you've got to you need, like, sadly, you need to put it into context. You can't just say as a section it was good, but like, because like in context it wasn't, because of the weird lapse of one. We've just dealt with like a fucking massive horde of enemies, and now we're going back to 0. But also, I just witnessed a massive fucking character death. We've gone into a flashback where I believe I'm going to go back into this what's happening currently, but no, now I'm playing as Abby after Joel's death. And like, also, I think my other problem with it is, it's weird having to start from 0 with Abby, but she's meant to be military trained.
Yeah.
And it just seems odd. Well, not military trained, but trained by a military-esque faction.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just seemed really odd. Like, don't get me wrong, she starts off with some better guns, but like, I don't know, that just seemed a bit... Like, that again, that's a very small, stupid detail.
How weird was the hunting pistol?
I don't know. I didn't like it, I'm gonna be honest. I used it, but it felt odd just having this, like, it's so OP.
It was so OP, but like, it's such like for example, revolver. It's like, oh yeah, it's a revolver, you know.
Yeah, and it's like it's stronger, but it's not. But you got less bullets. But, it's not fucking God's gift to the world that will one shot motherfuckers unless you pop them in the head.
This hunting pistol, it's just like,
it's pretty much a one shot from upper chest, upper body onwards.
Yeah, literally with like
it was a one shot. And like, yeah, it was just like, wow, what the fuck? And like, I think the other problem with Abby's weapons were there were too many weapons with fucking scopes. Because you had the hunting pistol had a scope, the rifle had a scope as well, and it just seemed really odd. Because I don't remember, the revolver doesn't have a scope, right?
No.
No. Oh, and
So
you had the crossbow with the scope as well.
Revolver's got fire rate, damage, reload, and
stability.
And stability. Yeah.
No, so then you got you had one item with Ellie. It seemed a bit more well rounded, where you had one item for the scoping, which was the bolt action rifle. You had the pistol, which is like your weapon that you use when you just want to fucking spam a lot. The revolver the revolver is the I'm gonna take my fine time and actually pop some serious shots in and like make sure I'm dealing some damage when I'm not running around. And then you had your shotgun, and that's shotgun's a fucking shotgun, and you have your bow.
Man, I thought Abby's section was really well designed. I thought it was really well
agree
designed.
Past a certain once it's past a certain point.
I thought the placement was poor.
But I also I'm gonna be honest, like the placement was poor, but so I can't actually even I don't know if I could actually talk about it in an unbiased opinion about any of the gameplay, at least from the beginning, because I hated. This. I was speaking to you about it. You really hated the whole Abby section up until they got to the introduction of the two scars, the two characters, and I think that after that section, it got really good because they introduced some really gorgeous areas.
What is that? Lev and Yara.
Yeah,
that's it.
And but they introduced some really cool areas.
Yeah, exactly.
Once they bring in Lev and that, but that's the thing. Before that, it was fucking boring.
Again, completely understand it given the circumstances, but like, for example, like that scene where like Abby's facing her fears on the heart on the.
Well, again, that's bringing. I'm saying though that's after you meet them. I'm talking about before that. Like before that, it's fucking boring. Even when you first meet them, it's still a little meh. But it's better. It's better.
After you get,
it's when you come back though. When you come back at that point,
yep.
From then on, the Abby section at some points even surpasses Ellie's section. It's just sadly the flaw with it is I still don't like Abby even after all her character progression. I'm still not a fan of Abby.
See, I'm not on that boat. I thought the parallels that they draw between Abby and Lev and Ellie and Joel, and the fact that at the end of the day, Abby was the one who made the, let's say, for lack of a better way to put it, progress before Ellie did.
Yeah, but I think, like, again, in that, it kind of comes stunted because it's like, yeah, but you got your revenge as well, though. Like, you got your biggest part of the revenge at the beginning of the game. So I think that's a little, to, like, say that, like, she got to kill the killer of her father. Sure, like, her friends have now been murdered and killed. But, again, that was at the fault of her own vengeance. So I think it's a bit stunted to be like, see, she made the progress. Because in reality, she started the whole fucking domino effect.
No. They both make progress at the end of it. I'm saying that, for example, like when you finish the Abby section, because let's talk about that, where you return to getting into the theater.
Well, I actually, before we return to that, I do want to mention, because you brought this up earlier, and I had this conversation where I disagreed with you on it, but I replayed some of the sections, just as a quick refresher.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, just some like small sections, nothing big. But I replayed the Lev sections, and you brought up that you felt like Lev was a bit ham-fisted in the fact that she was transgender. Now, I've figured out what the problem with Lev's writing is. And it's not because it seems ham-fisted that she's a transgender. What the flaw with it is everyone else in the game are getting hurt just because they're in this world. For some reason, Lev is the only character that is hurt due to their sexual preference and their choice of gender.
Okay.
That's where I found the flaw is. It's, Ellie happens to be gay. She's not in shit and like losing people because she's gay.
No.
Same with Dina, she's gay, but nothing bad's happening to Dina because she's gay. It's just because she's in this world. Lev is the only character where every bad thing that happens to her is due to the fact that she's transgender.
Yeah.
No, he's transgender. Sorry, that was my fault. The fact that he's transgender.
I think you're right, because I mentioned to you that it seemed weird that he was so devout, and then that was the reasoning.
Well, I don't think that's the problem.
But what I'm saying is that maybe because of the fact that they made the reasoning that all this bad stuff happens because of that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's what I wanted to bring it up to you, because I thought this would be a very interesting conversation, because obviously you and I agreed with everything. I thought you thought it was a bit ham-fisted to pull out that he's transgender, and you thought it was a bit whereas I realize now it's not that is the problem. It is just
no.
It's
the fact that the problems happen.
Yeah, his only negative, like the only negative things that happen to him is because he's transgender, which seems a bit, whereas like, again, if they were to say like, this is why we're out of it, but now we're just in the world and we're getting we're in danger in general, and bad things are happening because I'm in this world, different story. But it's every time something bad happens, whether it's with his mother or anything, it is strictly because
that was
heavy.
But
like, it is strictly because he's transitioned. And I didn't just get this opinion by myself. I will point that out. Laura Kate Dale, fuck it hell, who is a UK journalist who is a transgendered female. She actually pointed this out, and I didn't click, and I went, I don't know. And then I went back and played it and went, fuck, she's right.
Right.
And realised that, that's what it was. And so I do want to point out that she was the one who said it. She said that on her latest podcast episode, Podquisition.
Sorry, did you hear that?
Did you sneeze?
Yeah.
Well, bless you.
Thanks, bro.
See, on the NerdSpice podcast, we help each other out. We got each other's backs.
Yeah, it's not like we had like a slight little tiff at the beginning of about 30 minutes.
This is
ago.
Friendship, though. That's friendship.
Oh, yeah. For those people who don't know, Andrew and I have been friends for 9 years.
Across 9 years now.
Yeah, 9 years, mate. Across states as well.
I know. That's friendship, mate. Anyway,
that's friendship.
Let's go. Let's move on now. I feel like we've said our thing about Lev.
Lev is a great character.
Oh yeah, Lev is a phenomenal character. He is amazing because he does bring that very needed kind of dynamic for Abby, and he is what ends up humanizing Abby. And
exactly that. And not. It's just like, I don't know. I just thought he was very wholesome.
Oh, Lev was another bit of like ray of sunshine in this game. But I think that the difference is he's a ray of sunshine that is very, very violent. Whereas Jesse is also violent, but like Jesse is just always wholesome, whereas Lev is a bit more edgy. He's a bit more edgy. It's a bit more on the edgelord side.
But so let's go into when you catch back up to the Ellie section.
Fuck me. Okay.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Like, this was another thing that... See, this is kind of pushing on the same point that I had the problem with killing the dog, but this is doing it right. This is doing it the right way. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, where it's like, you don't want to do what you're doing right now. Because, like, let's just go into it. you catch up, shit goes down, and you're essentially playing as Abby, and Ellie's the boss fight.
Yes.
And
Can we, before we go into it though, that the entire scene where, as Abby, from Abby's perspective, you shoot Jesse, and then the matter of the fact that from as soon as you shoot Jesse, everything goes into like speed mode. Like Ellie tries to do something, whereas, for example, when you finish with Ellie, there's the pause, and then there's the day one Seattle Abby. Whereas this, you shoot Jesse, and it's like Ellie tries to do something, and then she pushes Abby. Abby pushes her off, and then like shoots Tommy in the back of the head, and this all happens in like 15 seconds.
And
maybe
we're all
less.
just like,
and you're just sitting
you and I
there.
both sat here because we had this conversation. We're both going,
Yeah.
Fuck, is Tommy dead?
It was. It happened so quickly, and you're just like, what?
And you have to keep playing this boss fight, and you're just in your back of your head going, am I seriously playing as Abby right now, fighting Ellie?
Yeah.
But Tommy's dead, and I've got to win. Do you know how many times I allowed Ellie to kill me? Just like,
just about to say, I had another friend who just like sort of sat there in the boss arena and just waited for Ellie to kill.
I let Ellie kill me like 6 or 7 times per round because I didn't want to continue because I didn't want to play as Abby at this point because I was like, am I gonna kill Abby? No, Ellie, don't Abby, fuck. Am I gonna kill Ellie though? Like fucking no.
Abby and Ellie ship name. Abby.
Oh, dude! Imagine if they became. I'm vomiting because the thought of Ellie even allowing herself to fall in love with the killer of Joel would aggravate me so much.
But it goes to say that whole section masterfully crafted.
Oh, absolutely.
You feel like you genuinely don't know what to feel. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
All.
That's what I'm saying. That's where like it's like you're forced to do something that you don't want to do, but that's done in the right way, in my opinion. I thought that one was done in the right way versus the killing of Alice the dog.
And with that section, that is mirrored in the very, very last fight. At least that's what I thought. I'm not sure because obviously your stance on Abby is different, but like I'm not sure how you felt about that fight.
Look, okay, we'll just go on. Like this fight was phenomenal, but I understand why they did it from a writing perspective, but fuck, it always frustrates me when a villain or a character lets another character go. I understand why they did it from a writing perspective, but that
in which one
in the first Abby versus Ellie fight.
Okay.
Where Abby lets Ellie go and essentially because Lev looks at she locks eyes with Lev, and Lev is kind of that one that goes, this has gotten to the point of no, this isn't okay. And yeah, it aggravates me from a character's perspective. Just like from a person's perspective of don't let them go just in case they decide to come after you again. Which, plot twist, Ellie does decide to go after her again.
Well, like, I mean, in this game, you sort of feel like Ellie's, like, sort of lost the plot a little bit.
Well, she absolutely has, and, like, you can't blame her.
No, of course not.
She's essentially lost her father figure. Not only that, though, you find out that essentially Ellie had forgiven Joel the night before he died. She'd finally forgiven Joel.
Well, she's
not forgiven, but she no, you could say she forgave him. She said like, I want to learn to try, but like she says
I can't forgive you, and then she says,
but I'd like to try.
Yeah,
but like, but that to me is her forgiving. That's her saying, no, you're right. Like, remember what you did was big cunt move, but I forgive you, and let's spend some time together now.
Yeah, it's significantly more closure than just they ended off on a bad note.
Yeah, and so like to me that was her forgiving him, even if it's just the beginning of the forgiveness. It was her forgiving him.
Yeah,
and it was just, I don't know. It aggravated me a little bit that Abby then just let her go, and it's like, dude, this bitch like wiped out an entire fucking army to come after you.
So,
Like,
I mean,
again, that's not an actual, like, it's not a, like, from a writing perspective, again, I understand why they did it. I don't actually necessarily critique them doing it. It's just, it's just from my perspective I wouldn't give a fuck.
You'd be like, I don't want them to come.
Yeah, dude, I'd be like, nah, motherfucker, like, this person's wiped out half an army.
Yeah.
And on top of that,
yeah.
my friends again. And so I'd be like, fuck that. Nah, you're going down now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to kill everyone else.
Well, look, I mean,
here.
You know what? At the end of the day, you think about it, that makes them better than us. Because, I mean, I'd probably do the exact same.
Yeah, of course. I'm not saying that... Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that they're necessarily better than us. They might... like, again, this was a writing... This was just purely for the writing points. But, anyway, we continue on. Ellie's now with Dina, and there's a baby involved.
And the farm.
Fucking adorable Asian baby.
And PTSD.
Yes, and mass amounts of PTSD.
Yep.
And, okay, so now, let's just get onto not the PTSD part, like, we'll move forward to that. And Tommy just appears, and you go, so he wasn't dead.
Yeah,
like, that's the first time you see Tommy back. And it's like, what the fuck? And yes, he's now a cripple with one eye.
Yep, he has one eye and he can barely walk.
Yeah,
and he's also become an asshole.
Yeah, well, he's now turned into what Ellie was to begin with. And Ellie is not actually, but kind of more on where Tommy was to begin with. And it's this massive character change. And
it's huge for Tommy.
And it's really heartbreaking because Tommy was probably the second most wholesome character.
Well, because even in the OG, Tommy was pretty like.
He'd become a bit more pacifist because he disagreed with some of the horrible things he did as a Firefly. And so it was very heartbreaking to see him essentially go full violence and just be like, no, and then getting angry at Ellie because she's now no longer wanting to be a part of it.
He gets super mad because he can't do anything about it.
Furious. He blames Ellie and gets angry at Ellie. And lets his anger out on her.
Dina puts him in his place. He's like, nah, don't bring that shit into my house. We got a family to raise.
But like the heartbreaking thing is, you can see he goes, fine, I won't. But then you can almost see this like whole, and I won't bring myself back to this house. That was almost what that last note ended on for me. That was the breaking of their relationship. Yeah. And that's also heartbreaking.
I mean, look, the whole entire ending is heartbreaking.
Of course.
Last fight, emancipated Abby versus I have a hole in my left or right side, Ellie.
I'm going to be real with you. I thought Ellie was going to finally kill Abby and then die herself. I thought that's where it was about to go with this shit. And I was
I thought so too, but I genuinely prefer the ending that they gave.
Oh, no, I don't disagree. I do prefer the ending. That's where I saw it going.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, you go through this ending, and because when I finished Abby's part, my opinion changed of Abby. It wasn't like, oh, you've now redeemed yourself. It was more like they've shown me the human side, which was their intention, and I didn't necessarily want I didn't want, like, let's say, the visceral death that I wanted before I played her side.
Yeah.
So then as you're playing that final fight scene and Abby's weak and frail and Ellie is weak and frail and you see them duke it out and it's the culmination of this rage, this anger, this fury, this bloodlust. And you see like for example, when you go to fight Abby, you see Abby's tired. Like Abby
Mm.
doesn't want
Mm.
Abby doesn't want violence anymore. Abby's like,
Oh yeah,
look,
she's like
like
totally given up. She's
yeah,
like,
she's
dude,
like
I've been
she's
in like prison for fucking months upon
yeah,
months.
I've been a slave. I've been hanging on a crucifix out here for like she, like you see her, she doesn't want to fight. And Ellie is the one that's like, put your hands up, like let's go. Like
Mm.
don't, I'm not gonna sit here and just stab you without you fighting
Yeah,
back.
and it's
Like
almost like
I
she's almost like I almost picture her as going, I'm you like either I win or you win. I don't care how it ends, but
yeah.
one of us is not fucking walking out of here, and that is what I want.
And then the entire fight, like Abby is fighting back, but she just doesn't sit like she
No,
sounds
nothing
like
like, and it's like nothing is actually connecting almost with Abby's
yeah,
hits. Like they
yeah.
connect, but they're nowhere near as like when you
There's
play
no
as Abby.
there's no
Like
motivation
no,
for Abby. And
um,
then Ellie's just lashing at her, and then the entire time you're just sitting there like, do I really want this? Like, do I really
oh no,
is
I
this
was
what I
still
want?
in the mind of just fucking kill her now. Let's cut this get this over. Just fucking die.
Again, I somewhat changed my opinion on Abby. You're still like, no, 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 no,
Like
no.
you've humanized her, sure. Like you've given her a bit of human like ways, but fuck that bitch. Still, like you killed Joel. Let's just finish this off. Again, like I still think Abby's character is really fucking good. And I actually think it's a testament to the writing of the beginning to make me want to hate. Like even after all this humanization, I'm like, yeah, but you still got to go. You caused a massive sin.
But so yeah, you just finished that fight, and like I didn't know if I wanted to win. I didn't know if I didn't feel like even if I won, I was winning.
Oh no, I was so keen on fucking putting the knife in, but no, I think then my opinion changed though. As soon as you get her under the water and you start choking her out and drowning her,
Yeah.
and that's when my opinion changed. I went, okay, like she needs to go, but not like this. This is just horrid at this point. Just let's give it up. And plot twist, Ellie does. And let's just cut to the end where Ellie's let Abby go and she's come back and Dina's gone.
Do you want to? I just have a quick story on this, just because it's fucking hilarious. So one of my good friends, and he'll watch this as well. So Peter, if you're out there, this is about you, you little shit. He's he was of the opinion that he didn't like the ending because he wanted more closure. Now, I went through the whole motions of him of like but that's the whole point. The whole point is that
you mean the motions that I went through with you.
yeah, exactly. And then anyway, he messages me a couple days later, and he's like, "Oi, bro, I noticed something that no one noticed." I'm like, "Oh no, here we go." His jump is in logic to find some sense of closure.
Yeah.
He's like, Ellie walks into the farmhouse with Dina's bracelet on and no guns, and I'm like, okay, what? I don't get it. He's like, that means that she went back to Jackson, made up with Dina, and came back to the farm just to get her stuff or see her stuff or whatever. I was like, bro, what do you want about? He's like, cause why would she not take guns? I'm like, hold on a minute, dude. She's had the bracelet since the theater in the game. And he's like, no, she hasn't. And then he starts talking about the lack of guns. And I'm like, you know, the matter of the fact, if you, like, I was like, you know that, right? If that's the case, if you read the journal articles whilst you're at the farm the first time, you'll know that Ellie has had encounters outside of the farm, like outside of the fences. Like, she mentions hunters and infected and things like that. right? And this was the point that sort of got him over the whole lack of gun things because um and I go, so even if she went to Jackson, she still would have come back with guns because she knows that there's shit around there. And I was like, not to mention they probably didn't like animate the guns because they want to specifically show the contrast between then and now. They want to show the contrast that she's not like decked out, ready to like kill bitches 24/7. And he's like, oh, yeah. And then he's like, how do you explain the bracelet? I'm like, dude, she's had it since the beginning of the game. Like, what are you on about? And this literally went on for like 2 hours. And I'm just like, Peter, please, for the love of God.
Peter Pumpkin Eater, you silly Billy.
I'm like, why are you trying so hard? It's such a huge jump in logic. Like, and then it literally just ended with, oh, my bad. I forgot. And I was like, oh my God, that's 2 hours of my life just gone.
Motherfucker.
Like, just,
he could have just...
Peter, why didn't you Google it, my man?
It's just, oh, Peter, when you listen to this, love you, bro. Anyway.
Also, this podcast is sponsored by Naughty Dog and Sony. Please give us money.
Oh, yeah.
And Sony, give me a review copy of Ghost of Tsushima, please.
I forget that we have to tell someone to endorse us every episode.
Yeah.
Critical Role. Yeah, shout us out, bro. Laura Bailey, Ashley Johnson. Yep.
Troy Baker.
Troy Baker.
My favorite voice actor, Troy Baker.
He's from the islands of France. I think France has islands, right?
I'm not saying anything.
I'm just fucking around. Anyway, let's.
My main choice of silence, like the choice of silence, is because I'm not gonna say yes or no just in case I'm wrong. Not putting that out on the internet.
So let's talk about the actual ending of the game because we're going a bit over time here.
Yes, Ellie returns, no one's home, Dina's left, which was very like a big contention when she went back out to look for Abby.
Yeah.
And it kind of ends with her, she finds the guitar.
All of Ellie's stuff is there, her art, her music.
Ellie's stuff's there, it's just Dina's stuff is gone.
Yeah.
And so Ellie picks up her guitar and she's trying to strum it, and Ellie's lost 2 of her fingers.
And she can't play
the guitar anymore.
Future Days, which Joel sings.
It's the song that Joel sings and then essentially says to Ellie, I'll teach you.
Right in the feelings.
Yeah.
Right where it hurt.
Yeah.
Right where it hurts. And look, I think it was a beautiful dark ending. Like it was the perfect combination of this isn't a happy ending. This is actually quite terrible. But it was beautiful at the same time.
Absolutely. And I think like a lot of people are going, oh, well, where did Dina go? All that stuff. And it's probably, look, it's most likely she's gone back to Jackson, because she can't herself defend the farm. That was primarily Ellie. Although Dina can very much hold herself. She's got a baby to look after. So she can't go out and all that with a baby.
Just before we finish off, I was just I actually just thought of maybe just a cool little, just a cool little Q&A.
I thought you were going to say. I thought you were having a stroke there, Tolga.
No, I don't smell
just.
But no. So I was just going to ask you what was your favorite section of Ellie's part, and what was your favorite section of Abby's part?
Okay. For me, my favorite section of Ellie's part is actually the. It's a really weird section to like as well, in my opinion, because you've got your on the way to the aquarium section, which is very good, very action packed.
Yeah,
but it's actually the beginning section with Dina.
When you first get to Seattle,
the first open section, and also the section after that where you've been like your horse gets blown up. Those two,
Yeah.
And that's like the introduction of the scars and all that, and like or like not the introduction, but the first hint at the scars, and it's like, ooh, those are my favorites. What about you for Ellie?
Well, for Ellie, I was actually gonna say, so I think it's
Or is it the flashback?
No. I think it's the TV section where you go, the TV station.
Yeah.
Where that's the one before you get to the theater. Hey,
the TV stations where you get introduced to the scars. Or not to the scars, but it's where you get introduced to the like people being hanged and gutted.
Yeah.
That's the section that I was talking about. Is
that the section where you run away and then you find out Dina's pregnant?
Yes, it's when you first get to the theater that you find out Dina's pregnant. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but as in, is the TV station the section before the theater?
Yes, I believe so.
So that was my favorite section for Ellie, purely because that's the first like extremely dark iconography, and that's where you're like, oh wow, this game is like actually not holding anything back.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's go on to Abby. I think you should go with your first Abby one, and I know what your answer's going to be.
My one's Ground Zero, the hospital.
Yeah, the hospital's fucking awesome.
That was such a fucking creative level, like, because the thing was,
I wouldn't say creative, but I would say it was very cool to see a Ground Zero and to see how the fungus has evolved. I would not call it creative though, because it is very much I'm in a dark area with infected.
Like, no, by creative I mean like I never thought of the fact that there would have been a Ground Zero, like. If, like, for example, like Ground Zero is a thing, but Ground Zero normally isn't like, this is the first hospital that had the cases of the infected.
Well, no, they're not saying this is the first hospital in the world. They're saying this is the first hospital in the city. They said it was Ground Zero for the city. So I think you shouldn't say it's for the country.
Well,
it's still Ground Zero for this area.
Not the country. I don't think it was
the
country.
No, they said the city. They said for this city.
But that was... In terms of atmosphere, level design, even the boss fight. The boss
fight was really cool. I liked that because it was an infected you've never seen before, and unlike other games where they introduce a boss fight and then later on that boss becomes a common enemy, they don't do that with this one. They're like, nope, boss fight, you will only see it this one time because there is only one of them.
Could you imagine if that was a common enemy?
Holy fuck that.
I would have like pissed my pants like an extra 45.
The human race would not exist.
No, like
yeah, so I'm a bit torn with Abby because like I said, I don't like Abby's section for a majority. Like I think 70% of it I dislike.
Yeah.
But the like don't take that the wrong way. For the fanboys, don't take that the wrong way, because the 30% that I do like, there are certain parts of that 30% that I think are some of the best parts in the game, just it compared to even Ellie's stuff. So like, I think it's a really big statement to it's a really big tip of the hat.
Yeah.
To that 30%, because I think that 30% was so high, and that's why I enjoyed it. The hospital was amazing, yes. The mission before that, where you're going across the skyscrapers, fucking visually just amazing, and like just feeling the fear of Abby's like vertigo is awesome. Like to witness, like watching things like kind of look even higher than they actually are as soon as you look down, like that stuff, really cool. But the island, man, I fucking loved the island. The island is great. Just like, it is that tip of the ice. It's just like that final fight type of feeling. But what I really loved about it was that you're watching this and this is all happening, but like you're watching it happen and you can actually avoid all of the firefights that are happening. That's really what cool. I really loved. You can pretty much sneak through the entire thing and just watch everyone fighting each other, and they're so focused on each other that you can get around the entire thing pretty much. That was phenomenal to witness.
What about the old mate, the brute fight, where you like open his face up, dude, and he's still
he just needed to quit at that point. It was like, dude, fuck. It reminded me of the villain of Wolfenstein 1, where she's like gets her face opened up, and then she comes back and it's like, fuck, bitch, you just die.
Yeah.
The motherfucker die.
Oh well. Well, guys, I mean, I'd love to chat more, but tonight is my sister's birthday, so.
Oh wow, are you choosing family over the podcast? So I just want to let everyone else know that Tollgate is no longer going to be a part of the NerdSpice podcast because he chooses family over the podcast.
Our 5 subscribers are family, which is the 5 people in the podcast and someone else, and I think that might be my partner. So,
is it?
I think it might be.
Oh, god damn it!
So, love you, subscribers.
See you, mate. Yeah, thanks for watching. Fucking listening. But yeah, no, that's the spoiler podcast. I want to ask though, we didn't really. Has your score changed?
No, I'd still probably give it a 9 out of 10. I'd still give it a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
How's yours?
A little bit.
Lower or higher?
It's gone a little lower, but not by much. It's an 8.5 for me.
Oh yeah.
Like it's only like sitting back and thinking about it after the hype.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, it's a good game. It's a really good game.
Yeah.
But it's so close, but it's still not a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, no. Fair enough.
Anyway, I'm going to let you go because I've got so much to do while I'm in lockdown.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
Yeah. The world of Melbourne is fucking in full lockdown now. Joy?
I'll give you a call about that. So,
yeah.
Later on. We don't want to do that over the podcast.
Easy, guys. Anyway, thanks for listening. And 3,
Are we going to do the thing?
1. You've been NerdSpiced. That was really good. I think that was phenomenal.
That was significantly better than the last couple.
Leon.
I mean, what did Leon said? Bye. What a.
And then my favorite part at the very end, he just pulls out spiced. Yes.
Spiced.
Anyway, let's go.
Hey guys.